Well, hi, YouTube. Let me see if I can get closer to you. Oh, there we go. I'm off my vacation now via YouTube strike. Yeah, they gave me a strike because I showed a clip, which is everywhere on YouTube, of flock cameras. Why they chose me to pick on? Well, I'm a small fry. You can ensure that that doesn't happen by sharing this video, liking this video, and we'll just share it with everyone you know. I never ask for money. I don't promote anything. I'm never monetized by YouTube. I do not care how many commercials they put on me. I don't get any money for any of it. It's greedy corporations that I expose, and they hate that. So anyway, I have talked about selling my property. So I put it up for sale for $70,000. It sold. I got 60, minus the fees for the realtor. And I looked at properties today. One of them was 10 acres, 2 on one side of the road and 8 on the other side, way so far out in the boondocks. It was very desirable, but because right now I still want to get to town, yeah, that's not going to work for me. First of all, a bus will not come and pick me up. Second of all, my e-bike will not go that far. And the next bike that I'm getting, that I ordered, will go that far. But I don't want to chance the wintertime, because I'm going to have to walk at least a couple miles just to get to a road the bus will pick me up on. Yeah, that's not going to work for me. So I'm looking at 2 other ones, 3.76 acres each, that the realtor that I'm going through to sell my property is going to make an offer for $50,000, and I'll put $20,000 down. That way I can buy a travel trailer and go on there and buy a mini house. I know, how's that working, right? Well, it's going to work. And the Lord will work for me on this, because I've gotten confirmation on so many fronts. I think partly I was here to learn lessons, and partly I was here to gain equity to be able to do something better. I don't know, but I'm thinking that, because I had to wait and I had to listen. And I'm learning to listen more. And my phone, just like it always does, goes bright, dark, bright, dark. Why? I don't know. I don't like anything that they've come up with so far, because it's always worse than what was before. It seems better, but it's really not. Anyway, so back to the situation. I've got a little video I'm going to attach to this, and I think it's a homestead journey video, but I cut it down. I'm going to go on other platforms, and then I'm going to put links to questionable videos, because YouTube is notorious for taking you down for stupid shit. And I'm just putting it like that. Whether you like it or not, too bad. I'm just putting it like that. This world is upside down and sideways, and the government lies through their teeth, and some people, I guess, are just under their spell because they just don't see it that way. And I feel bad for them. And then I got another story to tell you. This will probably choke me up, so just bear with me. I seen a video. It was on TikTok, and I don't have TikTok, so I can't go get the video. But somebody else was showing it. And this guy had went to church and he found someone and he married her. And he built this house in Florida. This was in Florida. And this is a real story. He was actually crying while he was talking about it. This is a real story. And if I cry and lose it, well, just bear with me. And one day he was told that he had a diagnosis of cancer. So he went home and he told his wife. And so they put a Brad Paisley song on and they danced to it in their house. Now, mind you, he had put a lot of money and effort in this house. And he said, God is not going to let us down. And she said, but this diagnosis. And I'm paraphrasing, okay? I'm betting you can find this on TikTok. As you said, I just don't like TikTok. He said, I said, God is not going to let us down. He's not going to let us down. The next day, I think it was, he said, what if I finish the work in this house? It was like a small mansion, basically. And then we'll just put it up for sale. And we'll get debt free, and then we'll just put money down on a different house. So he called a realtor. And the realtor said, well, what do you need for this place? He said, $325,000. And later on, he said, well, he didn't know the amount. It just kind of fell out of his mouth, basically. And the realtor said, you're out of your mind. You're delusional. He said, God said he would replace the years the canker worm has eaten. And I believe that. He's going to send somebody tomorrow to give me a check for $325,000. And the guy again said, well, you're just delusional. You're just out of your mind. This is just ridiculous. You can't, if you get $199 for this place, you'll be lucky. So he had his wife. It seems like it was 2 daughters. I don't remember for sure, but it seems like it was. They went to, I think it was her parents' place, because he had to have treatments. And it was going to take, I don't know, 2 or 3 years or something. But he knew that if they were there, they would be taken care of by her parents. So 4 o'clock that afternoon, they put the house up for sale. The next day, the realtor come beating on his door. And he's beating on the door and beating on the door, and the guy answered the door. He said, can you come out? And talk with me. He said, I can't come inside right now. Can you just come out and talk with me? So him and his wife were in their jammies. His wife was in a house coat. And they went outside. And they were talking with him. He said, by law, I have to tell you all the offers that he received on your house. And the guy said, all the offers? Mind you, he put this up for sale 4 o'clock the afternoon before this. He said, yes, but there's one particular one I want to show you. And there was a letter and an email. He got all these by emails. And it said, first of all, the realtor said, I'm so sorry. And I mocked you. And I didn't believe you. But this particular letter was a letter to the guy and said, I have never seen, because the guy had told this realtor before that someone will look at this and said, I have never seen any craftsmanship like this before in my life. So this realtor was reading this letter and he said, I have never seen craftsmanship like this before in my life. And I want this house. And all I can offer you is $325,000. Now, this guy had put 2,200 hours into this place, and he always charged $65 an hour for all the work he ever did. Unless it was a widow or somebody else at the church that needed help, then he would charge $45 an hour. He said he took $2,200 and divided it into $325,000, and it come out to be exactly $65 an hour. I've seen things like this before in my own life. And sometimes we say, well, I trust you, God. I have no choice. I'm going to trust you. I say that all the time. But then we don't. Does God really want this for me? Can you do this for me, Lord? What do you mean, can he? It's not a matter of whether he can or can't. It's a matter of, what has he got planned for you later on? Maybe his plan is better than you have plans for yourself. I was reading Revelation today, and I've gotten confused on some things today on that, because now I'm looking at divide Revelation in half, the first 11 chapters and the second 11 chapters, and overlay them, and you get seemingly the same thing, but in a stronger event. I don't know, put your comments below. But here's the thing. We are not going to precede those who are raised from the dead in Christ. We're not. And it's at the last trumpet. And so for those who think they're not going to go through things, we are. And here's another thing I've seen people say, well, those in Christ, we don't have to worry about any of that stuff, even if we go through it, right? It's like, that stuff isn't going to touch us. Then you tell me why that the saints in Revelation 13 have to persevere. Be patient. Because the Antichrist is going to chase us down and hunt us down and kill us. Some will escape. And it's not that God can't hide us like he did Elijah. But I want you to know that this man that I just told you about also said this: there is nothing more important than having a close relationship with Christ. Now, I'm going to add this other video to this. Pay attention. See what's happening. Please see what's happening. Get your house in order today.
Ladies, y'all may not want to listen to this because I don't know how serious this is going to get, but it's going to get pretty serious, okay? This is to all the lettered agencies in this country, United States of America. We the people want our country back. And we're not asking you to give it back. We're telling you we're taking our country back.
Oh, you think you're free in this country? Okay. It's an illusion. You wait till your car doesn't start. They shut off the power on you. You can't access your money in your bank account. They are building an electronic cage around you, around your children, their future. All these corrupt politicians are all a part of it. All of them. Every single one. You better have a plan. Things are going to get a lot worse.
One of the saddest things about the United States right now is how deeply unaware most American citizens are of what is coming for us in 2027, because we've chosen not to. Everything else is so crazy, and we're all working too hard to get by. What's coming is going to hurt even more than what we're going through right now.
You know, if you're not awake yet, there actually might not be any hope for you. Because they put it out there for you. They put it right in front of your face. Every single day, all day long, they put it in your face. It's up to you to choose to actually see it. It's up to you.
I quit my job recently, I guess, to add to the voices of Americans who are furious with the way things are going right now. You know, I had a good, cushy government job, made decent money, and I guess I just feel like I can't stand by anymore and watch these people in my country. I feel like we're seeing the last of a dying empire, and the people at the top are trying to squeeze every last bit they can from it and leave nothing for my kids and my grandchildren. And I guess I feel like I can't stand around and let that happen anymore. So, yeah, I've become self-employed, and I'm going to at least spend part of my time speaking into this camera to see if I can help someone out there, you know, wake up, deprogram, maybe start to look around and, you know, see what's happening, and to be able to kind of, I guess, decode a lot of the bullshit that's going on right now. This right-left paradigm that they've put everybody in, it's all bullshit. It's all WWE. It's all professional wrestling shit to keep you distracted from the power structure at the top.
I truly feel like I'm living in the Twilight Zone right now. And I'm angry, I'm upset, I'm frustrated, and I don't understand how we are literally looking at the desecration of democracy in the United States of America right now. And I feel like nobody is talking about it. Like, you go out in public and nobody's talking about it. I go to work, nobody's talking about it. They're talking about Love Island bullshit. It's just, I feel like everyone is sticking their head in the sand. Our food is being contaminated. We have no FDA regulations anymore. That's out the window. They're saying, oh, no, false positive. And yet people are just allowing it to happen and pretending like everything is going to be okay. It's not okay. When is the uprising going to start? Are we going to be the generation that just sits back and does absolutely nothing and doesn't say anything? Because I feel like that's the direction we're headed.
No, it's not just you. There's multiple people throughout my comments who've been saying that their vegetables aren't growing, their plants, tomatoes aren't growing. Some people, I think one person said theirs was up to 10 foot tall and wasn't producing any fruit. So we've had ours in the ground since middle of May sometime. I'll show you what they look like here in a second. It's pitiful. Just a quick snapshot of our tomatoes here. They're just kind of lollygagging along. They've tried to die multiple times. Yeah, no, I don't know what's going on. We haven't even gotten a single tomato this year. And for the first time, we finally got zucchini and squash growing. So you're not alone.
I was having a conversation today with a friend of mine, and we were talking about privacy. Alexa was in the room when we were talking, and I said, you know, that Alexa is probably storing every conversation you have in here and may or may not use that information against you later in the future. And we got to talking about rooms in our home and what is the safest room in the home to not be surveilled or spied upon by cameras in devices of all kinds. And I thought maybe it's the bathroom, maybe it's the bedroom. But then I thought, oh, I have a new TV. And not everyone has a TV in their bedroom. I do. I might remove it after this. But all of these new TVs have cameras in them. Are they recording? Do we really have any way of knowing? Where does that information go if they are recording, even when they're off? Who's looking at that information and why are they collecting it? Do we think this is going to be used for good or for evil? You know, all of these cameras, like flock cameras, they're being sold to us on the premise that it's for our own good. I don't think so. They're being sold to us as if you're not doing anything wrong, then you don't need to worry about this. What do you have to hide? Well, the majority of the population does not have anything to hide, but we do have something called dignity, human dignity. And there is a certain expectation that every single move you make, every conversation you have, every time you lift your child up into the air at a playground or in the swimming pool, that is not being recorded somewhere and stored in a data center that's killing the environment. It's being sold to us that it'll keep us safer. Well, in my experience, only about 10% of the population in any given environment, whether it's a classroom, a work environment, in society, 10% of the population is the problem, not the 90% who are doing their best every day to feed their families, go to work, have some dignity, not commit any crimes. Those cameras are not for the 90%. Please think about this. Please start using your voices here. I don't agree with this. And I think there's a huge disconnect with the handful of people and the government that's allowing this. And I'm not anti-government, but I am anti-intrusion of privacy. God bless you.
You know, those of us who are working on AI data farms right now and seeing the amount of money and labor and investment into this, and then you talk to some of your contractor friends and the budgets just aren't real. It's almost like the amount of money they're spending on AI farms, it's like money is not even real. If you're working on an AI farm, drop a comment below.
Remember how I said I lived out in the middle of nowhere with absolutely nothing around us? What's that? What is that? What is that for? Oh, you know, a free country. What are you monitoring? And why are our tax dollars being used to enslave the people, I wonder?
You know, there's roughly 20,000 humanoid robots currently being trained to work retail, customer service, product demonstrations, front of house, anything to do with customers for walk-ins. And currently, BMW, Mercedes, Amazon, Tesla are all using humanoid robots to build cars. BMW last year had 30,000 cars built with humanoids, at least humanoid assistants. And if you didn't know, currently in New York, they're testing out a humanoid teacher assistant, which we all know, if it works, will be replacing teachers. It's a trial program. Teachers union, not a big fan. Doesn't matter. We're all in trouble. So if you're not taking AI and AI technology very seriously with your job, I know what you're saying. What are they going to do if robots take over everything? How will we buy things? I don't know. But I can tell you, I got rid of my landscaper, the guy that cuts my grass, and replaced him with a autonomous little robot that cuts my grass every day. And it was inexpensive. It was cheaper to do that than to pay him the rest of the summer. He also didn't show up a lot, so it just made sense. We're all in trouble.
So if you're a home gardener, I have a question. Are you seeing weird shit happen with what you've planted? Because I am. And my sister is. And some friends of ours that have a garden have been telling us some interesting stories about what's happening. Because we've done a couple of raised beds. And I'm out and I do my watering. I've given them some, some nutrients and some fertilizer, and everything was going great. I had like 5 or 6 green peppers that were coming up looking absolutely beautiful. And then we had a big rainstorm that popped up out of the blue, and I'm going, well, it's because of the humidity, right? And the next day I walk out and every single one of those green peppers were yellowed, beginning to rot, and pretty much dead and useless. I had a cucumber start to grow that was this big, bulbous on one end, and it ended up being like a baseball and then had a little nub on it. Friends of ours are reporting that their gardens are failing. My sister and my family plant a garden every year. They've had to redo beans 3 times. And what they're getting also in some of the squash and zucchinis are warped. They look more like gourds. So if this is happening in small gardens, can you imagine what's happening in the larger ones? But my question is, why after a rainstorm that just blew through out of the blue, did suddenly every one of my green peppers rot and die overnight? The f is going on? And if you're not paying attention to this, friends, to what's going on with food in general right now, well, people are starting to pay attention. But if you have something, you can please put it in the comments. Because, yeah, shit's failing. Take care.
You guys see that shit out in Oregon where they want to ban hunting and fishing? What in the f is going on in this country? I mean, between that, these data centers, the ridiculous amounts of taxes that get extorted from us daily. How did we get here? What are we doing? It is beyond time for us to go to Washington, D.C. and drag these out by their head and all up. Dude, they are taking everything from us. And we just keep sitting here and letting it happen. Going to work every day, paying these ridiculous taxes. And then every time you get a bill in the mail, it's sky high. When are we going to stop it?
So in the 4 years since I bought my house, my property taxes have increased 30%. If American citizens can pay taxes based on the value of their home, why can't billionaires pay taxes based on the value of their assets?
Where's our money? Where is our money. The DOJ just announced that they have arrested 455 people accused of medical fraud in 45 different states. The medical fraud that they have uncovered equals over $6 billion. In a separate case, the FBI has uncovered over 12,000 cases of real estate fraud. That fraud is estimated at $275 million. The Social Security Department has uncovered billions of dollars of fraud for fake housing programs in different states, giving away money to people that needed housing that actually did not. And then Doge. Do you remember when Doge was a big thing with Elon Musk, who supposedly uncovered $200 million of fraud, and we were supposed to get like a kickback because it's all of our money? Over $800 billion of taxpayer money has been going to these fake programs, allowing people in the medical industry to file claims that aren't real. All of this goes back to us. We're the taxpayers funding all of these programs. And I don't know about you, but I don't have a check in my mailbox. And they say, oh, yeah, we made all these arrests. We're bringing all these people to justice. That's great. But where's our money?
Okay, this one makes me mad as hell. And it shows our government doesn't give a shit about us. You know how we were all excited about Toyota showing this little $8,000 truck? It'd be a great little work truck or just a cheap transportation. Brand new truck for $8,000. That's what they run in China. And they were going to start selling them over here. And our Congress went out of its way to pass a bill and block any of these little trucks or vehicles from coming over here. And you know it's because our big auto industry here lobbied them, gave them some gifts, got them to vote their direction. But so now we don't get the benefit of having some cheap vehicles that with great gas mileage that work just as good as these $80,000 trucks. So now, I mean, they just keep us in perpetual debt. So thank you, Congressman and your senators for keeping you in poverty and not allowing world trade. I don't get it.
I applied for a job. They gave me the job and I said to them, I do not want any tax or CPP deducted from my check. You guys pay me exactly what I'm owed. Okay? $40 an hour, 40 hours, pay me the $1,600. That's what I want. I'm not paying for a politician to take 10 months a year off and do absolutely nothing but ruin the economy and make other people's life absolute misery and then send the balance of the money to another country. I'm not paying for that. I'm not paying to work. You're only on the earth for a very, very short time, very, very short period, and you spending 80% of your time supporting someone else is absolutely asinine. And you know what? The government's only answer to people not wanting to work to pay tax is they're going to throw you in jail. I welcome that. I welcome going to jail. Are you kidding me? 3 meals a day, roof over my head, free clothes, there's a library I can read, there's online, there's video games. I don't know, that sounds like summer camp. That doesn't sound like jail or prison. That sounds like fun.
My father-in-law is 93 years old. He'll be 94 soon. And he likes to talk about the years that he worked at a local plant manufacturer here in town as his best years. That's all he wanted to do, that everybody wanted to work for this company. And the company, like a lot of companies, how it used to be, had pensions. He has been retired now from that company more years than he worked there, and he gets a pension check every single month. And he says that when he worked there in the 70s and 80s and all that if you called out sick and you had a sick day, the employer paid you more on that day because they assumed you had more expenses like doctor's visits and buying medicine. So I think Those types of examples are really important to remember, that those pensions and unions and those benefits that were paid to employees because employers respected them as part of a thriving middle class, those protections don't exist anymore. And so when older generations say, well, just do what we did and you work hard and you pull yourself up and it doesn't exist anymore. But they had it. And isn't that nice?
This is your sign to stop paying your credit cards. Okay? Now, this is not medical advice by any means, but it's important for you to know that my credit cards have not been paid in many, many, many months, and whose credit score is going up? Yeah, this girl. This girl! So it's all a scam. It's all numbers. Money is not real. It is just numbers on a freaking screen at this point. And same with the credit score. Numbers on a screen that go up and down like a teeter-totter. And sometimes when you're teeter-tottering in the way that you've been taught is best, okay, this is going to increase my score, boom, it goes down. So what I'm telling you today is it will literally pay off for you to have more freedom and stop caring so much about paying those credit card bills. Stop. Just stop paying them. Again, absolutely not medical advice.
You know, I am so frustrated. My mother is 78 years old. She worked her entire life. She paid into Social Security and Medicare for decades, never missing a payment, believing it would be there for her when she needed it most. Her Social Security check was about $1,400 a month. Not nearly enough to survive on, and now they're no longer paying her Medicare Part B. So after her Medicare Part B premium is deducted, she's left with around $1,200. Her rent alone is $800. That leaves her with just $400 to cover everything else: food, medication, transportation. You know, she stands in the grocery store comparing prices down to the penny, putting items back because she cannot afford them. Some days she skips meals to make sure her groceries last longer. Tell me how she's supposed to pay for groceries, prescription, and everything else on what's left. Meanwhile, Americans watch billions of tax dollars being spent on housing, health care, and other services for illegal immigrants. And you also have a massive amount of these illegals who've come here and stolen money from the taxpayers through fraud. So our hardworking seniors have just been pushed to the back of the line. Our elderly shouldn't have to struggle after a lifetime of working and paying into the system. They deserve security, dignity, and to know their own government puts them first. It's time to start taking care of the Americans who spent their lives taking care of this country. And don't even get me started on the vets and how they're treated.
Millennials are so nostalgic because we got a taste of the world before everything became a subscription, an algorithm, or a monthly payment. People want to make fun of us for being nostalgic. Of course we are. We remember when hanging out wasn't content. Pictures weren't proof. And the internet was just a place that you visited, not where you lived. We lived through 17 different versions of society. We had a childhood where our parents kicked us outside and said, be home when the streetlights come on. Then suddenly we had to learn email, rank our friends on MySpace top 8. Then Facebook, then Instagram, then TikTok. Now somehow my refrigerator needs Wi-Fi. We had landlines, then flip phones, then Blackberries, then iPhones. And now my phone is editing my photos, answering my questions, and judging me on my screen time. We learned cursive. And then they said, you know what, never mind. We memorized phone numbers. Now we refuse to even pick up the phone. We use MapQuest printed out directions. You made one wrong turn, you ended up in Nebraska. We survived enough technological updates that now when I hear, here's a new feature, I know that I'm gonna have to teach my parents and my children how to use it. We're not nostalgic because we're old. We're nostalgic because we've had to relearn how to be a human every 5 years.
So I work at a restaurant, as many of you know, and last night I was working my dinner shift, and my first table is I give them the check, and then I come up to collect the check and like take their payment, and the woman's on her phone, and she's like, oh, like I'm just paying the bill on my phone. And I'm like, what do you mean you're just paying on your phone? Because like we don't have anything like that. She's like, oh yeah, I just went to your website and I was able to like pay on my phone, like through your website, like you just enter your check number. It's like, what? So I like go check in with management. Apparently it's some new system that was like implemented like very recently, but it like kind of doesn't have anything to do with us. I don't know. I wasn't fully clear on like the whole thing. But it just like really freaked me out because so people could now get their bill at the table and then pay on the app and just, I mean, I guess tip like whatever. But there's also like some monetary reward, and like if you use this payment system. And not only that, but if you download like this app, in order to use this app at different restaurants, you have to give them your credit card information. And I just really feel like we are just at such a point in society where it's just everything is so out of hand technologically. Like, can we not just like go out to eat? Just like simple. Like everything has to require like now 50,000 apps. All these people have to be involved. You have to give your information to everybody. Like, is anyone like actually like concerned? Like I am concerned. Like the direction we're heading is not normal. And this is just a very small example of something that's like not really creating like true harm on anyone, but like going down this path it's just, this is, none of this is sustainable.
I'm never eating anything out of a drive-through ever again. Look here, kids, FDA approved, lab grown, genetically modified meats. It's coming. Finite for this fat bald dude. I'm not, if it's got a drive-through anymore, I'm done. You wanna know why? Bang. Tyson Foods. Tyson Foods is the chicken purveyor for every fast food restaurant in the nation. If it has a drive-through attached, guess what? They get their chicken from Tyson through Cisco Food Service. Let's just put this out here. They have put in millions, billions of dollars in 3 different labs to grow lab-grown chicken, genetically altered and modified chicken. Finite, it's a wrap. Anybody that's been buying food for as long as I have not had anything out of a drive-through in years, and I'm going to tell you, don't buy anything out of a drive-through. And hell, don't even trust anything from Kroger either.
So I bought some mayonnaise. It came in a 2-pack from Costco, right? Packaging, obviously it says UPARV, which is kosher, right? There's nothing on the packaging that says bioengineered ingredient. So when I look here, I go right here where it says product of Canada, ingredients derived from a bioengineered source. I opened one. I don't think I can take these back to Costco, but oh man, look at the bottom of that. Okay, look at the bottom of that. That looks kind of weird, right? Let's look at the bottom. This is another Best Foods. I went to Stater Brothers. See the difference in the bottoms? Isn't that crazy? Bioengineered source, non-bioengineered source. This one doesn't say anything about being derived from a bioengineered source. So you guys have to check, okay?
You want to know something that absolutely just bothers me? I'm out here in my garage, and you can see my driveway right there. And a guy just drove by real slow like. I know his tire's flat. I hear it womp, 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 womp. He's on the rim and got flashers on. And I'm sitting here with 2 trucks in the garage and tools everywhere, and he just drives on by. He can see my shop open for a little piece. Here's the thing. We live in a society where folks don't even want to bother nobody no more, man. They don't even want to ask they don't want to ask for help, because at some point in time they've asked for help and somebody made out like it was a damn inconvenience to help somebody. Since when have we got to the point that we can't even help our neighbor no more, you know? No joke, man. I wish he'd have just pulled in here, man. I got air, impact, floor jack. I could have had him on the road about 10 minutes. But he gonna run the risk going down this black road all the way, black night all the way. Who knows how far he gotta go? I might be somebody's kid. All I had to do was just swing in and I took care of him. But as a society, we so distant from each other. Don't nobody go sit on front porches no more. Don't nobody just go visit nobody. Everybody too busy, or they got this going on, or they got that. I'm guilty of it too, you know. I mean, we kind of stay to ourselves, but like, just sad that we didn't got to this point. We done got all this technology that'll connect us in an instant, yet we don't even talk to our neighbors. Sad.
I'm so done. I'm done. I've been heavily out in the job market. As most of you know, I worked for Turning Point last year, all right? Political involvement, ran for political office. Now I'm trying to find a regular job. And now I'm out in the workforce, and I'm going to tell you something right now. I am so qualified. I have a master's degree in project management, business, and organizational leadership. I have a bachelor's degree from Florida State University. I've done project management work for a law group here in Florida back in the day to help hurricane victims. Okay? I've done it all. I've done a lot of great work. Nobody. They're hiring, right? They're not getting back to you. They say, oh my gosh, great candidate. We would love for you to come in for an interview. We'll call you tomorrow, set something up. No call back. You call them back and it's like, we're not hiring anymore. Well, then take your post down. I'm just going to tell you right now, any mainstream politician out there that says this economy is getting better and there are so many jobs, bullshit. Okay? Nobody really wants to hire. 2020 really ruined a lot. And now I'm seeing it coming out of the political world and trying to get back into the regular world, I guess. Yeah. It's not fun. It's really not fun. And I really pray for this country. Because I know there's a lot more people out there way more qualified than my qualifications on their resume, and they're having a hard time. The wages in Florida, shit. The cost of living in Florida, New York and California prices now. Florida won't up their wages. How are Floridians going to survive? Well, that's because most of the original Floridians can no longer live here.
But interesting that we find that same theme, the same idea right here with the White House and the shifters. It really is, like I said, there's a whole new world coming. It's not going to look like this one. We're seeing all the changes now. We're in the birth pangs of it all. But what's coming is going to be really terrible. So they're preparing the world, preparing the people for all the masks dropping. So the satanic side of this system is manifesting more and more. People are becoming deluded and confused when it comes to the Word of God. The masks, people's faces changing. Something's off. People witness it. They realize it. They may not know what it all means, but they sense that there's something amiss. There's something off. People are changing, right? The masks are dropping. This old world is ending, this fourth age. We're moving into that final age of man, the age of Aquarius, age of the anti-Christ. And we know that's right at our doorstep as we witness all of these changes happening so quickly in our society, all over the place, right? It's just people notice it. We see it. We sense it. So my hope for you, if you haven't accepted that free gift of salvation from Jesus, is that you do that as soon as possible. Because you really do need the eyes to see and the ears to hear in this world right now. You really do need that discernment more than ever. More than ever before, you need that discernment. These are very exciting times for some and very terrifying and confusing times for others. So again, please accept that free gift of salvation. Understand the time you're in. You won't have to live in fear anymore. When you're in Christ, there's no fear. I personally am not scared of any of this stuff. I just want to expose it. I want to put it out there. I want people to understand. And most importantly, I want people to accept Christ, really. And it's not because of any gain I'm going to get. I care about you. I don't have to know you, but I understand that we're living in very prophetic times, and it's the most important decision you'll ever make. So once again, you guys, this is all I wanted to show you in this video, and I always appreciate you checking it out. So I hope you're taking care of yourselves out there. You're not living in fear. You're doing well. All right. You're doing okay in these days. No fear when you're in Christ. Hang in there. And all things working out well. I'll see you in the next video.
The freight industry has a lot of issues happening right now, and there's a lot of news coming out. And I wanted to put a lot of this news together in the words of the truckers and the freight operators in their own words. Because right now we are in a trucking recession, and I don't think a lot of people understand it. So let's start with Janelle Brown. Janelle Brown has been driving trucks around the country for 30 years. When the number on the fuel pump finally broke her, it read $5.89 a gallon. 2 weeks earlier, she had told a Florida reporter that this past spring she'd been paying $3.15. Somewhere in that gap, the math on her independent operation stopped working. So she did what a growing number of veteran owner and operators have quietly done in 2026. She parked her own authority, gave up the business that she had built, and she went to work as a company driver for someone else. I'm so curious if this is affecting more and more drivers. Let me know down in the comment section if this is going on. You see, her story, it really barely made the local news, but it is, in a miniature way, the story of the entire American freight industry right now. It's a slow grinding attrition that doesn't arrive as a single crash so much as 1,000 individual surrenders, right? See, we're in a recession in the trucking industry that doesn't seem to be ending because this has been going on for a handful of years. You see, for most of the country, recession, the term, is a abstraction argued about on cable news, right? In trucking, though, it has been lived, measurable. It's a measurable reality for more than the last 3 years that we've been watching this happen. The downturn that freight insiders now call the Great Freight Recession. You've probably seen this on Freight Waves talked about in other publications. Well, this began back in March of 2022 when a pandemic era boom in shipping demand collapsed just as tens of thousands of new carriers flooded into the market. There were too many trucks and not enough loads. Rates fell and then simply refused to recover. But now we're in 2026. The wreckage is everywhere in the data. Carrier exits are running roughly at about 31% higher than the same period a year ago. Month after month, the bankruptcy filings are continually to pile up. More than 20 trucking-related companies in May alone. Another wave is coming right now in July. Most are the small guys, the outfits with 2 to 3 trucks and single-leased tractors, and they're right now in a situation where they're running out of fuel because the cost. See, the logistics are not there for a lot of these companies, but the giants in the industry, they're actually failing too. In January of this last year, STG Logistics, an intermodal operator with around 2,100 drivers and 15,000 containers, filed for Chapter 11 under around $1.2 billion in debt with only $34 million cash in hand. That's unsustainable. The same month, 10 Roads Express, a 47-year U.S. Postal Service contractor, shut down their operation entirely and laid off roughly 2,000 people. Its revenue was gutted by 70% after the Postal Service shifted work elsewhere. In May of this year, Standard Forwarding Freight, a 92-year-old regional carrier, liquidated about 302 trucks and put 230 drivers on the street. These are not fly-by-night operators. They are institutions older than the interstate highway system, and they are now disappearing. Now, what is the cause of this? Well, everyone should know it's when the diesel price became the last straw. It's when the diesel price rose, which I still don't understand because it's a byproduct of making unleaded. Don't get me started. You see, for the owner operator still hanging in right now, this spring delivered a very cruel twist. Just as many companies were surviving on razor thin margins, diesel prices spiked hard because of the Iran issue, right? Driven up by overseas supply disruptions. In some markets, they were blowing up past $5 and even $5.80 a gallon. Where I live, we were over $6 a gallon, which was nearly double what drivers had paid weeks before. Now, you can hear the strain in how drivers describe their days, right? There was a gentleman named Todd on the internet that was talking about it. He's a multi-generational trucker hauling food. He said that the average truck was now swallowing between $580 and $600 a day in diesel fuel, even as the load has gotten lighter as the deliveries have slowed down because the economy's slowing down. There was another gentleman, Teddy Pagan, with nearly 2 decades behind the wheel, put the squeeze plainly. He said, the price of freight is going down, and I'm not getting as many jobs. Avery Thomas, who is a long-haul driver, did the grim arithmetic out loud. He said, you take these loads that pay $800, but you're paying $800 in fuel to get there. How does that work? You see, that is the trap in a single sentence. When the freight pays exactly what the fuel costs, the drivers cannot work a 100-hour week, right? Or they can, right? But the problem is you cover 1,000 miles and end up precisely where you started. That's not sustainable. You go out of business, you quit. You'll eventually end up having to go out of business for yourself and go work for a larger carrier. I think it's really important. There was a truck driver with the last name of Barnes, driving in Florida. And the gentleman said, I think it needs to go down or you're going to see a lot of truckers leaving, referring to the fuel price. Well, the problem is for every 10 of those people that are having a problem, there's a couple that sort of figured out a way through, right? It would be dishonest to pretend everyone's going under, right? The recession has also provided or produced a smaller, quieter set of survivors. And this is where we want to focus, right? How to make money during these times. Because whenever there's a recession and most people lose their money, there's a handful of people that were ready over here and they crushed it and made money, right? So those stories, let's talk about those because I think they're really important. So one of them was Sam Kelly. He runs Black Sheep Express, a 3-truck fleet out of Brandon, Mississippi, and he came within an inch of being one of the casualties back in 2022. He was riding the last of the boom. He leased a brand new Freightliner at around $180,000, right before the market fell from underneath him. For 8 or 9 months, he bled cash. He said, you're paying for a truck 1 month out of your own money. He recalled that amount of stretch of time. He got out of leases, he regrouped, and he rebuilt around dedicated cheese runs from Wisconsin to California, leasing into a carrier that paid him about 87% of the line haul rate. By late 2025, he was buying good used trucks again with a plan behind every mile. Now, what separates Kelly's comeback from Janelle Brown's exit isn't grit. She has 30 years of grit. It's timing, it's a little luck, and the brutal reality that in a market that is thin, the same decision can save one operator and sink another, right? So where do we go from here? Because that's what everybody's been asking, and this is what I've been finding. There are a few signs, faint signs, that the worst may be passing. Freight rates have ticked up modestly in early 2026, and analysts allow themselves cautious optimism, they're saying, that the glut of excessive capacity is finally clearing. In part, they say, because so many truckers have simply left the road. So you as a trucker right now have less competition. Well, that's the dark logic of this recovery. The market heals by grinding down the people inside of it. and then it recovers with just a few that remain. So the question is, are you sticking this one out? Or are you about ready to end it? You know, for the drivers and owners that remain in this, that's cold, sad comfort. They measure the industry not by freight indexes or indices, but in fuel receipts, load boards, and the growing list of friends who have sold their truck and have gone to drive for someone else. The great freight recession will end eventually. The question hanging over every truck stop in America right now, though,
I was out here jogging, and there was just something that I had to stop and film, so I kind of slowed down to a walk, and I thought, you know, I have to talk about this because I just can't believe at this point, you know, with the way that we can access biblical things through the internet. You know, you could Google any sort of biblical topic and find out exactly what verses you need to look for in the Bible. So the fact that there's any human that can read that still believes in a pre-tribulation rapture blows my mind. There is literally nowhere in the Word of God where it talks about a pre-tribulation rapture. As a matter of fact, all over the Word of God, it says that it's at the last trumpet. Jesus Christ himself said in Matthew 24 that immediately after tribulation, he will gather together his elect. Immediately after tribulation. 1 Corinthians tells us that in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trumpet, some of us will escape the sting of death, and we will be taken up and changed at the last trumpet. Ephesians says, at the last trumpet. The only place where the word rapture actually occurs is at the last trumpet, but it even gives you more detail that first the dead will be raised. Now, okay, well, if the dead are raised first, when's that happen? At the last trumpet. Revelation, after Christ returns. Those who were killed during tribulation will be raised from the dead, and it's referred to as the first resurrection. It's the first one. There's not another resurrection and then you're raptured, and none of it even makes sense. Like, in order to be raptured in a pre-tribulation scenario, one, why? What's the purpose for it? Like, are somehow you better than Jesus and the disciples that you can escape tribulation? But two, it just doesn't make sense. That means Christ would have to return a second time to rapture you and then come back a third time. And there's just simply nothing biblical about any of that nonsense. And the sooner you can get it in your head that you're actually gonna be here, the better off, because then you can begin to prepare for such a time of trouble. But if you just believe that you're just gonna get raptured up and nothing bad will ever happen to you, well, you're just fooling yourselves. And you'll probably stare at prophecy playing out and you'll totally miss it, because you'll be waiting for some strange event to take place that is just not simply going to take place until the last trumpet. And when I asked you, well, why would you even get raptured in the first place? You probably don't have a reason. It's to escape. So I can escape a terrible thing. The only reason for the rapture in the Bible, doesn't matter what I think, by the way, this is just simply what the Word of God says, is so this corruptible body can put on incorruption, and this mortal body can put on immortality. Because how else will I reign on earth for 1,000 years with Christ in a corrupt, dying body? I can't. So I am changed. Just like Paul said, in the twinkling of an eye, I am changed at the last trumpet. But by no means will I precede that first resurrection. So just don't take my word for it. Just look at what the Word of God actually says. Jesus himself, immediately after tribulation, I will gather together my elect. Paul, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trumpet, you will be changed. at the last trumpet, you will be taken up and then you will be changed. I mean, there's another one. Like, it just, I believe that it is Satan that created this idea of a pre-tribulation rapture. Simply so, you can have a whole population of the strongest Christian country the world has ever seen just be fat and pathetic and sitting around doing nothing, waiting to be escaped, waiting for escapism. So get out, exercise. You're going to be here, you know, unless you die before that. But outside that, you're going to be here. You are definitely not getting raptured up before the tribulation. There's only one rapture and there's only one return of Christ. And all over the Bible it says, at the last trumpet, period.
So many times you reached out to me, but I turned my back 'cause I didn't think you had what I need. But now you're everything. You're everything to me, and I can't be without you. You're everything, and I want to say thank you. I was lost and you found me. I was dead inside and you breathed into me, and you brought these bones to life. I want to say thank you. Thank you for saving me. Thank you for loving me unconditionally, God. You stood with open arms, but I ran away 'cause I was scared of the pain that came with trust. But I came running back into your embrace because I knew you'd still be there. You'd never leave me, God. And I want to say thank you. I was lost and you found me. I was dead inside and you breathed into me, and you brought these bones to life. I want to say thank you. Thank you for saving me. Thank you for loving me unconditionally, God. And I don't deserve you, God. I don't deserve you, God. But you keep on loving me anyway. Oh, you'd never stop loving me, God. Now I want to say thank you. I was lost and you found me. I was dead inside and you breathed into me, and you brought these bones to life. I want to say thank you. Thank you for saving me. Thank you for loving me unconditionally, God. Oh, thank you. walk to the guillotine, crowds chanting, ooh, what a scene. Too late to apologize, you did the crime, now you gotta pay with your life. Take a long walk to the guillotine, crowds chanting, ooh, what a scene. Too late to apologize, you did the crime, now you gotta pay with your life. Hands up, hands up, hands up, hands up, hands up, hands up. Hands up, hands up, hands up, hands up, hands up. Take a long walk to the guillotine, crowds chanting, ooh, what a scene. Too late to apologize, you did the crime, now you gotta pay with your life. Hands up, 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 hands up. Long walk to the guillotine.
Denounce your faith in Yeshua.
Long walk to the guillotine,
No.
crowds chanting, ooh, what a scene. Too late to apologize, you did the crime, now you gotta pay with your life.
Do not speak back. You will listen. I am not here to reason with you. I am not here to persuade you. I am not here to explain myself. I am here to judge you. formed you clean. I gave you order. I gave you balance. And you chose corruption. You opened yourself to violence and never closed again. You swallowed blood and asked for more. You hid murder beneath cities. You buried bones beneath wealth. You laid lies on top of truth until you could no longer tell the difference. But I could. I set my people apart. I marked them. I placed covenant on them before you ever had a name. And you made them pray. You chased them, you broke them, you enslaved them, you scattered them. You packed them into ships and counted them as inventory. You worked them until they died. You sold their children. You erased their fathers. You exhausted their mothers. And you called it progress. Earth. You knew exactly who they were. You knew my name rested on them. You knew my breath moved in them. And still you chose profit. Still you chose power. Still you chose domination. You built empires on their backs. You built economies on their wounds. You built comfort on their suffering. And you demanded gratitude. You told them to forget. You told them to submit. You told them to smile. You beat identity out of them and punished them for surviving. You renamed them and then blamed them for wearing the names you gave. You mocked their faith. You distorted my word. You preached lies in my name and called it righteousness. Earth, your hands drip. Your soil remembers. Your rivers remember. Your walls remember. You are soaked with evidence. I sent warnings, you hardened yourselves. I sent signs, you laughed. I sent truth, you buried it. I delayed judgment, and you grew bolder. You perfected oppression. You refined cruelty. Made wickedness efficient. You crowned thieves, you protected predators, you silenced the righteous. And you told yourselves you were advanced. No. You are exposed. Now the ground opens because it is finished holding you. Now the seas rise because they are finished carrying your waste. Now the skies darken because the measure is full. Do not call this disaster. Do not call this chance. Do not call this nature. This is sentencing. I am dismantling your systems. I am stripping your authority. I am collapsing what you trusted. Your markets will fail. Your armies will scatter. Your borders will not save you. Your titles will mean nothing. Your excuses will be ignored. Your prayers will not interrupt this moment. You had time, you wasted it. You had mercy, you mocked it. You had truth, you rejected it. Now you will have judgment. What you buried will rise against you. What you stole will be reclaimed without permission. What you tried to erase will stand while you fall. You will not rename my people again. You will not chain them again. You will not scatter them again. I am gathering them. I am marking them. I am restoring what you tried to destroy. And you will watch. Earth, you are guilty. There will be no appeal. There will be no delay. There will be no misunderstanding. This is not cruel.